Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Peak Growth Podcast. Today I have with me Adele. Welcome, Adele.
Thank you so much.
Can you begin by giving us a quick introduction about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Adele. I am trained as a designer, graphic designer, started a creative agency about 13 years ago. But I'm also a world traveler, so that's a big part of kind of my brand. My business is called Live Large Design, and I niched specifically in e-learning to support entrepreneurs, typically like visionaries or mystics who want to expand beyond one-on-one services into an online space where they can scale really exponentially.
All right. So, what inspired you to get in the e-learning industry?
Yeah, so I would say, beyond being a creative, I've always been a teacher as well. I've taught university, a lot of different sort of realms like that. I've been a wilderness guide. So I enjoy the opportunity to, help teach people. Kind of in the heart of COVID, I started my first online course myself and really enjoyed just like the faster sort of solutions that I could give my design students. And I just like the sort of decentralized opportunity that the e-learning industry gives us beyond traditional education, and it makes a lot of information more accessible than, college, university does.
Interesting. So, is your main focus right now like your own e-learning business or the design agency?
I'll always keep both sides of my business because I enjoy, the outlets I get to teach as well as working with my clients. I will say I've kind of scaled down my one-to-one clients. I like to work with just, a few at a time, like 1 to 3, and work really intimately with them. That's more fun for me than having like a massive client roster.
Yeah, I can absolutely understand that. So, looking back, like, is there something that felt like the hardest possible way to do it? With your agency or the online course, but something that maybe taught you a lesson that you still carry today?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I probably have done everything wrong. I've taken the long way for a lot of things. I think the biggest thing I see in e-learning is people perfecting a course before they go to market with it. So I really encourage my clients and myself to, get your concept, your idea ready and actually start selling it. Do a pilot group or a beta version so that you really can get like that live feedback and make sure that you're building a course that is going to be viable for what your market actually wants. So obviously, we have our own ideas of what works, but until people purchase that, buy in, give feedback, we don't know all the details of that. So I'm a perfectionist at heart, but I like launching at 80% done. So I have that opportunity to integrate, feedback and make tweaks and evolve whatever it is that I'm working on.
That's some very interesting insight. One of the best advice I received is that if you're not feeling a bit scared to launch something, you're waiting too long.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm curious about? I was checking out your website, and there was a section saying find your brand flow, right? And you have all these categories, right? Like the rebel, the mystic, the artisan. So, I want to ask, who do you find is the most drawn to the type of work you do?
Yeah, I get a lot of visionaries. So they're going to be your authors, your speakers, people who are creating concepts and are meant to be in front of people. And I get a lot of mystics. So this is going to be more your spiritual people, folks who are deeply tied to sort of soul work. They're a little bit less interested in being in the spotlight and more focused on impact. All of my archetypes, I tend to get as clients or connect with. And then the rebel, I think I, embody a lot of that rebel energy as a traveler. I live kind of an alternative life. So I think people have kind of a draw to my lifestyle if they have a little bit of that aspect of themselves. And I love my archetypes because it helps me kind of understand people and also what sort of visuals or marketing strategies might best work for them. A lot of times you'll hear coaches say like, my one strategy got me to whatever amount of money. I just don't personally believe that every strategy is going to work for every person. So I think we have to go a little bit deeper, understand, someone's nuances as an entrepreneur and how they want to scale. And even, 7 archetypes is limiting, but at least it's more in depth than like sort of one strategy. So for each archetype, I advise my clients to actually market their their work or services or courses in a particular way.
Okay, so 7 archetypes is a good number. It's quite a lot. But have you ever been surprised by who ends up engaging with you in such a way that you maybe had to create a new archetype for one client specifically?
Yeah, I mean, what I like to do is kind of create combos. So maybe someone is a mystic archetype as their primary archetype, but they have a little bit of that rebel side, and that's how they want to market, for example. Like they don't want to do a traditional sort of funnel, they want to do something a little further out there. So I'll kind of bring in pieces from the other archetypes, but I do feel like they all kind of cover some bases quite nicely. Yeah. And so we can pick and choose from that. I'm definitely not someone who likes to put people, myself, in boxes. I think, boxes are meant to be sort of deconstructed. So let's start somewhere, let's understand each other, and then let's build from there.
Okay. So would you mind going a bit deeper and telling us how does the process look? Like, for example, somebody goes for the mystic archetype. What's the process to bring your vision into their brand?
Yeah, so again, like I have a quiz you can, anybody listening can take. It's free. That gives you some insights into like what the mystic archetype is, what sort of visuals might work for that archetype. If you're going to work with me one-on-one, I still have, you go through that process so I can understand your archetype, and then we check and make sure that really suits you. I also do my own aspect of like intuitive work with my creative clients. So I'm looking into that as well. There's quite a lot of aspects when I'm working one-on-one with clients to ensure we're in the right direction. And then options. So if we were to work together, I would start with a visual exploration process. You would be able to buy in with feedback. We discuss through that. I think I've been doing it long enough, or just my intuitive side, where I can really sort of go into my best understanding of how to represent you, your website, your branding in a visual way, and then we refine from there. So at this point in my career, I tend to get clients who trust me, trust the process, and so they let it unfold, which is really beautiful because it allows me as an artist to probably do my best work. In the beginning of my career, I know a lot of designers will get this, you get a lot of dictation from clients. Once you hit a point where clients are really trusting you with the process, you can really go to the next level, in my opinion, with branding and the way the visuals come to life.
Okay, now that you told me about your process and how many steps it has, I can understand why you have a wait list on your website.
Thank you.
And I can really relate to what you said about being allowed to bring your own creativity and like do the work the way you see it. When you work with a client, like, you need that freedom, right, to deliver the best results possible. So I want to ask you, if you had just 30 seconds to speak with somebody who's your ideal type of partner, right? What's the one message you would want them to know about what you do?
I think the work that I do is so interesting because it is helping people become visible in an online, in a business way. And so it hits to a lot of core elements of who we are as humans. So I want them to understand, until they can be successful with their brand, with their website, in a big way with their business, they have to embrace visibility in their own energetics, in their own body, and their own entity. So I think a lot of the aspects of what I do is this subtle coaching towards that comfort of visibility, towards that excitement. And I think the core of that is focusing on the impact that we make as entrepreneurs over any level of perfectionism or focus on ourselves, because that will help push us past the discomfort. It's honestly not comfortable for most people to be posting on social media, be putting themselves out there. But I think, those of us who chose to be entrepreneurs, we're doing it for that growth. And so I think really connecting with that is important. But yeah, it's a very subtle answer that comes up so much in the work that I do with people. When someone tells me they don't like a logo concept, there's something behind that. And usually it's going to have to do with a visibility factor.
Okay, so people who post on the internet are oftentimes uncomfortable with what they post. And how do you usually go about convincing them that this is the right way to do things?
Yeah. I don't do any convincing in my work. I think it's like you said earlier, a partnership. So I offer options and then I offer pros and cons of each option. If we're building a website together, obviously we need to launch that website. So, if a client is, getting cold feet about their website launch, then we just need to get on a call and talk through that and discover what the challenge is and help move through that. So I think a lot of it is like the coaching side, holding space for people, letting them feel heard, and then supporting them with solid design and funnels so that they feel confident in what they're putting out there. But yeah, I'm just past a point of any level of convincing. I actually don't even really love the term marketing because I think that's like this idea that we're trying to like force something. I think ethical marketing leans more into like the energetics, into showcasing the value of something and letting our people come to us. So I like the idea of like magnetic marketing, that sort of thing.
Do you think a lot of people misunderstand the type of marketing you do? Like, do you think they are associating it with the more like trying to persuade?
Yeah, I mean, I don't personally get those people anymore because I'm at a point in my career where I'm attracting, just the people who get it. Most of my clients are already making, six figures, multiple six figures, and they're wanting to move to the next level. So they've kind of been through that visibility challenge. They're now looking for that scalability. And yeah, I think understanding values as entrepreneurs is important. And I look for clients who have shared values. So yeah, if someone doesn't, vibe with my vibe, with my travel self, with, sort of these maybe what you would consider personal things, maybe they're not going to be the best fit for us to work together. But I rely really heavily on, feeling my clients out. I obviously get on like a video call with people before, we work together. So a lot of my process now to work with clients is equally that them vetting me as me vetting them to make sure we're a good fit.
Thank you for watching, guys. You can find Adele's website in the description of this video. I really recommend to go and check it out. She has a very unique approach when it comes to design, and I think you guys will love it. See you next time.